the Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And you're stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys. Just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Baskell, and I love A24 so much that I would let A24 inhabit my body as a mortal host for their eternal work.
And I'm John Gilardi, and this is the second time we're recording this.
Yep, that's
because
true.
I armed the recorder wrong, so we recorded 42 minutes, and then I realized,
That is
shit,
good.
my track isn't recording, so here we are.
That is good honesty,
But I also
John.
hate tree houses.
That is good honesty, John. Thank you for putting that out there.
Indeed.
Today, we are going to be talking about the creeptastic family horror film that was shot in Utah, featuring a historic Oscar snub from Toni Collette, or she was snubbed by the Oscars, with an all-star cast that includes Alex Wolff of the Naked Brothers Band and Gabriel Byrne of The Usual Suspects, and that lady from The Handmaid's Tale who you fucking hate. And then more hints and secrets in Legends of the Hidden Temple. Hereditary!
Yeah. This is it's a movie. But it's a good horror film. It's
Oh, they have a dog. Oh, that's right. They do have a dog.
I think the dog dies off screen.
No, he does. He does die off screen, but you see it. That was what I was going to put that in my bad notes.
Yeah.
We are watching it in
second
the
movie in a row with the
background.
dog dying. It's not good.
I mean, it's a horror movie though, so it's like
It's got to happen, right?
because they can't kill people off, but they do kill it after they kill other people. Anyway, obviously, we're going to be full of spoilers. We're going to be full of stuff. If you haven't, please go check out this movie.
Indeed.
Because it's fucking scary.
It's a good movie, and I think...
How would you synopsis this movie, John?
Oh, man. It's about a family going through a traumatic experience, family drama, and then some spooky stuff starts happening, and it's horror. It's good horror. Another podcast I've labeled as dread horror, and I think that is perfect. I think that's the perfect label for it. It has elements of spooky demons and all that, but it also is just drama and dread, and it's an allegory for mental health. So there's a lot of discomfort.
Yeah.
A lot of just uncomfortable stuff about the human psyche and understanding and comprehending what someone's going through, but also crossing that with demonic stuff.
Yeah, it definitely hits. It hits like long, slow stuff, and I have that throughout my notes, like the long shots, and like we're lingering, and you know, it's just so it fucking eats away at you. It and I think that John, in our previous recording of this podcast, you said there was something that I really liked, that it was ritualistic in the way that it feels, like the pacing of it, and the whole movement of it. Here it is.
Yeah.
But it's like everything is like ritualistic in like the shots are all so precise. The mom with her fucking miniature stuff, it's all so precise. So it's like everything that we're doing is leading to is they're a part of this ritual, which is funny because, as you were saying, like they are a part of this ritual, and I think that that's one of my things that makes this movie fun to me, and is that it's there's a little magic behind her.
Oh yeah.
But is that they aren't active in what's happening. Like a lot of their stuff is just bad things that are like a lot of their stuff is just active.
Yeah.
You know, and the stuff that's happening around them is the magic, is the evil.
Yeah.
Like they're just things are just happening to them.
Yeah. I mean, so there's stuff at play. You know, you get teased that, and watching it the first time, you're like, what are these spooky random people? And what are these little quirky things, or what's this symbol? Or you don't even notice the symbol.
Yeah, you don't notice it. Like, why are we having this shot? Why are we lingering on the shot of this
light pole or
and
whatever.
So
the movie. So the family, they're victims. They're test subject. They're subjects of a ritual, of a cultish kind of ritual, and so there are forces outside at play.
Yeah.
And you see that. You see the people watching, or you see a ritual happening by, or you see
or there's these little moments like where it's like, oh, my mom used to make stuff like this. Oh, she did? That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
It's like, there's just like,
I mean, the first moment you see it is a creepy man staring at the kid.
yeah,
But
and
it's
there's-
also the really one that really is like, she's like, she gives the eulogy to her mom's funeral. So backtrack. Mom is kind of a leader of a cult. She dies. And
we don't know that at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, but we
you
don't
don't
know
that.
But so Toni Collette's character is like, hey, a lot of people here I don't recognize, but that's cool. I guess that she knew all these people.
Yeah.
And like you kind of
Brush it
take that
off.
as like, oh, they were estranged or whatever. But you do know that they lived together, or at least towards the end. But you just take that as, oh, they're estranged. But no, there's just a bunch of people from her second life that you didn't know anything about.
Yeah, because she's a cult leader and she's like hosting this demon and stuff. And then also there's like there's this moment again, watching movies a second time, like especially horror movies. I've talked about this before. Is like, but us figuring out about the tether thing. I have my whole like theory about that, and it could go into like where you kind of know like when you watch it the first time, you're like figuring out how things work.
Yep.
And then when you watch it the second time or a third time, you're like, oh, this is how this works.
Mm-hmm.
Like in us, she's able to tighten the tether and able to figure it out. Like there's an actual tether or something.
Yep.
And it's like now watching that, maybe that was some sort of like little, that was like some little drugs that they were putting in her, you know? And there's always, there in the good horror movies, there's some, and especially ones like this where it's like unraveling a mystery or unraveling something, there's always kind of something to see. Like even when they're talking about Hercules, they say fatal flaw, and then they go to a shot of the girl's butt. And then, and then they say a thing. He refuses to look at the signs are being literally handed to him the entire play. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yep. Well, that was because I had picked up a few things. This was my second viewing. And I picked up a few things. I was like, this movie, there's no accidents in this. Everything has a purpose or a place or is leading to something or a clue. And then from there, it was just fun. It was a scavenger hunt, I guess, of sorts. And there was, on the first recording of this podcast, there was a moment where the son is smoking a bowl or a pipe, and he blows smoke outside.
Yeah.
And it cuts to a reverse of then someone breathing from that's watching him from outside, which is also one of my biggest fears growing up as a kid, because we lived in a lot of woods around us, and I always feared like someone just out there in the darkness looking at me. But
gosh.
And Patrick had to notice that. And
I didn't notice that until we watched it, and I wish that was damn it, John. I wish that was recorded on audio forever, because that was a real moment of me being like, oh shit, that's the first time I saw that.
Yeah.
Which again is after I watched this movie for the second time.
Or then you pointing out that they're trying to get them to do this ritual to let them in.
Yeah.
And so that they're kind of putting clues out there, like here's a brochure about seances.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work. So then the cult vice leader or leader now, intercepts her and is like, hey, I
got this. There's
my little grandson Timmy. I talked to him.
Yeah.
It's this crazy thing, and you got to come try it. And she convinces Toni Collette to do it, and she does it. She's blown away, and she's like, shit, I want to talk to my daughter that's dead.
Yeah.
Which we need to talk. We need to cover that. But and that lets the demon in. That's the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about the brother and sister, I guess.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean, that's the thing that what makes this movie is like the family dynamic of it.
Yeah.
It's tough because now I can't remember what we've already talked about.
Yeah.
And like
the
what
deeper
we're
we
going
get
over
into
again.
the second recording, it's hard to remember. Like shit, did we talk about that?
But we gotta sort of touch on it. But it's like the family dynamic is what makes this cool. And I said this is that when Ari Aster, I feel like I mispronounced it even hard. Ari Aster.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I'm doing it with an accent. Ari Aster right there. But Ari Aster, when he pitched this movie, apparently, he pitched it as like a family drama that devolved into something rather than like a straight up horror movie.
Yeah.
Which I think you can tell in moments.
Yeah.
Like throughout it, like it definitely, that's the forefront of it. And I think that is one of the great things about Toni Collette's performance is that she is a crazy person trying to be a normal lady for the sake of her family, because this is what she's wanted. She's wanted a family. She's wanted to be able to do her own thing. But she's also crazy. Like she's probably got some sort of schizophrenia, or I mean, she's an artist. All artists are crazy, you know. And then in a little bit, in like their own little way, it's just how you focus it and put it. And then, you know, it's just like if your regular high school was as bad as you thought it was.
Yeah.
You know, it's just everything's turned up to 11, where the daughter is weird, you know.
Yep.
And it's just the whole like crux of it, like it builds up at the end of our like first act, is there's this party that the son does a very typical thing. Is like, oh yeah, it's a school barbecue.
Yeah.
Which I can't count you the amount of times that my friends have had birthday parties. Yeah, it's fucking Kenny's birthday. It's like, didn't Kenny have a birthday? No, that was Cody's birthday last week. It's just his birthday, so you know I gotta stay out a little bit longer.
Yep. So he goes to the party, or wants to go to the party, but then the mom, so the daughter is kind of a different soul, different type. She's very quiet, has like weird kind of animal parts and twig art, and does all these things in her room. And she's a quiet person. And obviously, you get the vibe that she's a little different. And so Toni Collette's like, no, you're going to this fucking party. And it's not even like a gentle nudge or anything. It's just kind of like, you're my daughter and you're fucking weird. Like, go to party and be normal.
Go be a party. Yeah,
go be normal. Go be a normal person. And it's like, it's with that disdain and frustration.
And nobody wants her at the party. The son is like, and I think it's also great that the son doesn't give up much of a fight, because he's like, and that, again, I don't think that it's his sister. Like, he doesn't dislike his sister. He knows that she doesn't want to go. She's kind of a buzzkill. She knows she's kind of a buzzkill. She doesn't want to go. And I think that it's funny that their relationship is so, like, kind of honest. Like, I don't detect any animosity. Like, again, there would, in a different movie.
Yeah, in a bad movie. In
a bad movie, he would be an asshole to her. And, like, he would be getting his comeuppance.
But he takes her to the party, and he doesn't really want her there, but he's obviously fine enough. But Toni Collette doesn't really know what she's doing as a parent in that situation. The kid doesn't want to be there. So it's like it's a weird situation. But so she goes to the party, and they hint that she has a tree nut allergy. But they go to the party, and she eats something with nuts in it.
Because she's trying to figure out something to do. She's like, I don't know what the fuck to do at this party. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to hang out with you, not because I don't like you, but like the reason I'm at this party is to try and hang out with other people, maybe hook up with this girl, show her that I'm cool and not a weirdo. Look, I've got weed. Hey.
Yeah, I'm a cool guy.
I'm a cool guy with the good weed. I know he says that. He's like, I've got good weed.
It's like with the little shitty baggie.
Yeah, I bet you it's pretty good. Yeah. I bet you it's fine. You're in Utah.
So yeah, she eats the cake. She has allergies. And so the interesting thing is she's a pretty quiet person, and you don't know much about her character besides the weird, creepy things she does and her just being weird and creepy. But then you kind of see the innocence of a girl scared, a little girl coming out, and you see the brother realize this, and he steps up to the plate, and he's like, okay, I got you. And he carries her out in the middle of this party. He doesn't give a shit about what people think. He's stepping up. He gets her into the car, and he goes, and he's speeding because she can't breathe.
If she can't breathe, he's got to get her to a hospital.
Yeah, and she can't breathe, so she's kicking the car, freaking out. She opens the window. She needs air to breathe, and then boom, there's a deer in the road. The brother swerves. She gets decapitated. Like a 13-year-old kid,
and it's just
decapitated in a movie, which you don't see often. And it adds to the shock, but it also just adds to the craziness of the situation, because you see the real innocence, the child, actual person in her come out, and then it gets taken, boom, away.
And then the innocence of the son too.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "Fuck, what do I do?"
Yeah, because
what do you do?
The car stopped, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on. He looks at the rearview mirror, but he stops, and he at that point, there's no doubt. He knows she's dead.
Her head is gone. There's blood all over the back seat, and it's great how little we see of it.
Yeah.
it's great. Like it's great how little we see of everything because that's like that. It's the Jaws thing where it's like we know it's there, we know what happened, and we see as much as the like. It's more the impact that it makes on the son is much more important. And I mean, I guess what do you do there? Like I know that we've already gone through this, but it's like option A.
Yep.
You call the police. You go ahead and get that roll in, and you get that there.
Call the police. Your parents have them come to you.
You know, it's awful. It's but that's probably the most responsible. And I guess you would hope that everyone would hope that that's how you would handle it.
Yeah.
Option B is you go home, and then you tell your parents directly, which is I think the hardest option.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Option B is probably the most realistic, good choice a teenager would make.
Yeah.
And then option C is go home.
Which is what we do. And
then go into your bed and wait. And you
go
were talking
into cationic shock.
Yeah. And what you were saying in the other podcast was, it's kind of it's super relatable. Obviously, I have not accidentally had my sibling decapitated, but like any high schooler has fucked up, and they just wait for their parents to find out.
Yeah, because you don't want to tell them
if they find out.
Yeah,
but that's kind of the game plan, It's like, fuck, I messed up, and I'm gonna pretend it never happened.
It's gonna be it. And the thing is, I feel like again as I've gotten older, it's like no, the easiest thing to do, and I'll say this out there to any kids, who listen. The easiest thing to do is to tell your parents. And again, I don't know, maybe your parent's a psychopath, but at the end of the day, your parent loves you. And they want to go ahead and fix the issue. So, like, if you do crash a car, maybe tell them. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I would give that advice. I think I would
parenting advice corner.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or not
I don't know.
If,
I'm not ready.
Being a teenager in 2020 advice corner.
Yeah, I don't know if I can give that advice. I don't know that.
But yeah, and then I think one of the most. I mean, there's this movie film. I always don't know what to say.
Movie film.
This movie film. The cinema experience is full of awesome moments of filmmaking and storytelling and not convincing you, but just
see. Look at this. I'm sorry. She's constantly making contact. She's like, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Yeah, I mean, here, for example, just the movie's good at what it is. It's a good movie. It's good at conveying things. It's good at telling you what it wants to tell you. And so, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. We talked about it last podcast. Oh, so when she finds out that her daughter dies, you don't see it.
Yeah.
And it's so well done. You just focus on the kid, and you hear her walking downstairs, and it's just an average morning, And there's I'm gonna go get coffee.
Yeah, here I go. Good morning for me.
And that's like the thing with like trauma or crazy experience. It was right before then. It was for the most part just normal, regular day. And maybe you remember little small details you would have remembered, and like it kind of hits on that element of just the Toni Collette is just another morning, and she's doing her thing, and then
boom, her daughter's
she walks
headless
out.
corpse is in her car.
Yeah, and the horror and the the anguish is hits hard. The way it's told, and I guess the way it makes you think, oh shit, yeah.
But that's
it's just a regular day, and everything changes.
And I think that's also one of the beautiful things. Again, I think it's beautiful. Maybe is not the right word, but it is.
I had that. I literally said that. Last time.
I know. But about this whole movie is that it is like an enhancement of the mundane, in that everything sticks out because it is like that, like sort of like pre-trauma remembering.
Yeah.
Here's all the little clues that lead us to the thing. I actually completely lost my train of thought. But it's okay.
Yeah, it's so hard talking about this because we talked about this for a good chunk of time. And now it's like, I don't want to repeat. I want to repeat what I said in the last recording, but I don't want to repeat what I've already said now. And it's all starting to blend together.
Yeah, but all right. So the beautiful, again, it's the long, slow shots it's the sitting in it. Like that's what this movie is. It's like sitting in it, and it gives you the sense that there's something creeping. There's always something just outside of the frame.
Yeah.
And like that's like the
Well, there's like it establishes that there's some invasive outside presence with just the people creeping in and stuff like that. So like the fact that you're feeling that, it's cool to hear, and it's also like shit. I think I felt that subconsciously because of what it was setting up.
So fucking creepy. And there's so many little secrets throughout this whole movie where it's just they're letting us in, and Ari Aster is just like giving us stuff like where they're putting like lip gloss on the dead mom or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think too it's weird because the mini work, and I think I said is this is all like the whole thing is a set.
Yeah.
The whole then so that they could play with the different depths and make stuff feel bigger, and then like that they could have it be but more malleable to what they wanted rather than shooting inside. And as we've known,
it was the same in The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Which I think is the best way to do it, especially when you get to the weird, freaky shit later on.
Yeah.
That kind of space and the ability to make your own helps with that rigging.
Yeah, so you can help with the special effects stuff. And then, but just like tying it all in, like it's all narratively focused. Like even the mini stuff, it like leads into
the miniatures.
The miniatures. Yeah, where it's like that first shot. We're starting on our treehouse of horror, and then we like pan around. We see all the stuff she's got. We come through and we look and we see our boy's room, and we push in on it, and we're like, wow, cool, the doll's room. And then boom, the dad walks in.
Yeah.
And throughout the whole movie, I mean, everything's on a set that's an interior,
mm-hmm.
but it feels like it's also like everything plays in. It's like feels like it's also placed, and it's also set up like one of her miniature things.
Yeah.
And I had that question, is like, what came first, the miniature or the room? Like, when they were shooting it.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, because they feel like they're in this dollhouse that's being manipulated and controlled. Oh, I had this thought earlier. As you were talking about the daughter.
Yeah.
Is what if that's the first, like, whenever she's like about to die, like that's her.
Yeah.
Because like she's like super weird and stuff. But what if it's because it's the demon Payment or whatever, who's like, I'm in this fucking little girl's body.
Yeah.
I gotta like he's like Rick and Morty, like he's like, let me out. Let me out. This body is a curse or whatever.
Yep.
And so see, look at that. That's gotta be a fucking mini.
Yeah, it looks like a miniature.
But they play with our, like, it's so fun when he's able to do that, because the director has like lulled us into this idea. He's lulled us into this sense of security and are questioning our own reality, or the reality of this person. And I don't remember if we said this in the last podcast or this one we were talking about.
I think it was the last one, how her sanity. So again, Hereditary, it's a movie about mental illness, and it's hereditary because the idea is that it passes from mother to daughter to granddaughter. And the focus primarily of that is on Toni Collette and her mental wellness and her mental decline. And I think it introduces a lot of interesting things in storytelling with trust of what's going on, what's actually going on. And it just creates a lot of interesting dynamics where you have her you what you've seen, you're like, yes, okay, she's right, she's correct. She's trying to convince her husband that her mom's body is in the attic. And you're like,
and it is. We saw it, right?
And you're like, I don't know, like, we saw it, but was she seeing things? Because she's been seeing things earlier in this movie.
And did she put it there?
Or did she? Had she put it there in some fugue state? And her husband's like, he's like, you're fucking crazy. Like, there's nothing up there. And she's like, just go look. And he goes and he sees the body there. And then he's like, later on, he's like, you fucking did it.
You put this shit up here.
I got the call that they exhumed the body, and I didn't say anything because you didn't need to hear about that. But then, you know what? I think it was you that did it. And it's just like, there's a bunch of those moments, especially as the movie ramps up towards the end, where you're trying to figure out, wait, is Toni Collette a part of this? I don't even, what's her character?
Annie.
did Annie do this? Is she doing these things? Is she part of the pawns, or like or is she being controlled? It's like, is her physical form doing something here, or her subconscious, mentally ill side, coming out and doing stuff, or the demonic side? I don't know. Like, there's just so many questions, and the movie isn't strongly defined, and in the end you don't know if you can trust her, or that she is the one, or that she has become lucid, as you were saying.
Yeah.
Like, maybe her most lucid moments are the moments where the film has convinced us not to trust her.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
But I want to double back and say, when you say that the movie isn't well defined, I disagree with that, and I also because I think that everything.
Well, I think it's well defined. I guess I meant like.
I just wanted to double back.
Like, confirmed explicitly with it's not like.
Yeah.
Everything is very specifically shown. There's all a purpose.
There's all rules.
Ari Aster has.
All.
He has on a list. He has written down somewhere what exactly is going on.
He could have a whole separate movie that he wrote out and cut out, where he has all the scenes that we're missing.
Yeah.
Because we're focused on this family and the effects on this family, but and I think that is so good and so cool, where we are on the inside of this world with established rules.
Yeah.
And that's what made Star Wars and Harry Potter so fun, is that you're thrust into this, and then you get to discover with the universe, with the main characters of the universe, what's happening, But meanwhile, we have fucking Annie, who's fucking out of her mind, and she's essentially our protagonist.
Yeah.
And
it's like a face in the mirror.
I know, it does look like a face. There's so many little things.
Yeah, this movie's definitely. I think I touched on this in the last recording of this.
It's like a puzzle.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle, and it's fun to rewatch, and I think it has a lot of rewatchability. When you think of Halloween time, you want to watch movies, and you think you want to watch specifically like Scream or Halloween or whatever, those classic ones. And I think this film isn't based around Halloween, but it does have those kind of horror demon vibes, and I think this is rewatchable, which is interesting to say because it is very indie, artsy, very cinema leaning movie. But I think that's what makes it so good, is that it's a good film. It's a good film anyone could watch. But it also has horror elements, and to me it's like, you know what, I could start seeing myself wanting to rewatch this.
That's so fucking weird. I love that they, again, playing with what's actually in the space, like what actually is there. But I think that you kind of touched on an interesting point that for this podcast is a new point. But there's this sort of rise in filmmakers to make horror movies, interesting horror movies, where they get to use all the pretentious and weird filmic stuff.
Yeah.
Because it creates a sense of atmosphere, and you're allowed to have long, slow shots in this, and this is a blockbuster movie. But if it was a drama, again, it does the same things, and it's still you're still able to tell stories through shots, and through composition. Visually, yes, that would be the way to say it. You can tell the story visually, but because it's a horror, it's more marketable. Whereas if you don't have,
that was a hidden cut, I just realized.
Mm-hmm. They've actually done also they've done a couple different things with her where they stay over her shoulder while she's talking.
Yeah.
They stay behind her for long periods of time, which is very interesting.
I think I touched on it when I was talking about Good Will Hunting, but I really like off-screen dialogue, not off-screen, but dialogue where you don't see the face of the speaker, you see the reaction of the people.
Yeah.
And I really like that because you're also seeing what their reaction is to what the hell is she saying? What is she talking about? Because they think that she's losing it. They don't trust her, and they love her, and she's their mother. And
I love the son in this
wife.
where he's just yeah, the fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Please, I don't want mom to burn me alive. I actually want her to be on my side.
But then when it's all hitting the fan, it's like, Daddy, help me.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like this. And I like that he does recess to that he is like, he's like a cool guy teenager, you know, but
There's a moment too when he's in the attic at the end where he's like, "Mommy, please."
Yeah.
And I put in my notes, like, that's a clutch move, trying to
yeah.
hit her with the mommy.
But like, I also think that's the, you know, you're still you're a kid at 16, you know?
Oh yeah.
And like, you're not a fucking, as much as you want to think you are, you're not a man, you know, like
No.
your parents are your
I don't know
parents.
if I'm a
and
man now.
Yeah. Yeah. Even. So like, I like that was there, you know, cause that was real. That wasn't like, I don't know, you're just a kid, you know, you're not gonna, he's been through the shit. Like, I don't know, you're gonna degrade, you are gonna go back to that point and in absolute horror, you're gonna trust your parents, you know?
Yeah, and you want to.
Or you're gonna confide in them. So I think, again, the son was he could have been just a douche teenage character, whatever. But his layers and the way that he's used as a character in a story, and the things done around him is so good, you know. And you always think about the little girl with the creepy clucking, which we should talk about because we did it last time. But you think about her and whatever. But he is so instrumental in this movie, and he does an amazing job. With the performance and then just the direction and the editing and the storytelling around him specifically is really good.
Yeah. He wanted to break his own nose.
Really?
Yeah, for that scene where he smashes his head on the
the desk.
On the desk. He went to the director and was like, "Hey, I'll break my nose. I'll smash my nose on this desk."
Damn.
And the director was like, "I love you. I think that's great. That's good energy." But that's illegal. I can't ask you to do that, and I won't. I actually don't want you to do that.
Yeah.
So like,
don't.
So don't. But they put like a padded desk, and he still dislocated his jaw.
Oh.
He smashed his face in there so hard.
Good for him.
I don't know. I appreciate that.
Well, he believed in the film.
Yeah.
Good. That's a weird cut. Yeah. So the little girl, as we were saying, she's creepy. But she had this little tick where she clucked.
Yeah.
Like, and the way that's used through the film is so good. And I don't know. There's not much to say about it, but it's used as a creepy element. So you know how in Conjuring you have the clapping for the hide and seek.
Yeah.
In this movie, it's the clucking. It's really good, and it kind of the movie ends on a cluck. I think. Even when
does it?
I think the guy clucks.
Yeah, he does. He does cluck.
But we didn't mention that all last podcast, and there's not much to talk about.
I don't know what they're like. What the
like,
significance of it is. Is she's a chicken?
Well, I think he is. I think he is the god of mischief, so it's just kind of like a mischief, like goofy guy, like, yeah, like I'm over here.
Uh-huh.
Like I think it's me. I don't know. That's my justification.
I don't know if it needs a justification.
Or maybe he has a tick, or maybe it's her tick coping with it.
Yeah.
But then he does it later when the boy.
And it's definitely like a signifier. Maybe it's like a signifier when like he is more present, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because there is like the weird moment where it's like, again, we said earlier where it's like, it does feel like, and she does a good job too, the actress who plays the daughter.
I think her name's Molly something.
Millie, I think.
She started off as being, what's the movie about the like girl with a really shitty family that has like powers, and the one kid eats like a whole cake as punishment? Matilda? Yeah, I think she played Matilda in the Broadway version.
Oh, cool.
And I think that and this are her claim to fame.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
See, look, there's Act 3, Lift Coach Pandemonium.
Yep.
I really think that those are chapter markers or something.
No, I think you're onto something there.
'Cause
like they just let in the demon, so
yeah,
and then here we are with the third act.
I feel bad because like she looks disconcerting, like it looks disconcerting, and I know that she has some sort of like actual like bone disease or something like that, where it like causes her that stunts her growth a little bit.
Oh.
Because I looked it up, because I was curious whether or not it was makeup, and I'm sure that there's a lot you can do with makeup and wardrobe that will make somebody look like feel weird.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure, but she does have some sort of, I forget what it's called, and I should have kept it up. But she has some sort of like bone disease or something like that. Knowing that, I was like, oh, I feel bad because I don't want her to be like, oh, I look disconcerting.
Yeah.
And so they'll cast me because I look weird.
Yep.
But she does also a fucking great job.
Yeah, I know. I think I don't think those movies had any negative impact on her or her image, from what I've seen. Because I was curious. I was like, I don't like her character is so disconcerting, and I was like, what is this person like in real life?
Yeah.
And from what I saw, she's just a happy,
regular,
happy gothy kind of teenager.
Yeah.
So.
But it's cool because I do feel like, and again, as we've been watching it in the background, I feel like I see that she's playing like two different people a little bit. Like there's definitely like, she's definitely Payman and like or there's like maybe like a blending of the two, you know? But I think
it would have been interesting because it's like, is she complicit? Like is she aware when she was collaborating with the grandma what was going on? Like, does she know she was being groomed? Does she know she isn't herself? You know, like it's hard to. I think she knows.
I think she
based
knows.
off of the end of the movie, where it's like, oh, okay, you're back here again. Welcome, Charlie, which is her name.
I don't think she knows. I think that she knows more. And I think the two kind of in the same way where it's like they hadn't been able to do the ritual, and also she was maybe the favorite, but she was never supposed to be the host of Payman.
Yeah.
But she was closer to the grandmother, and the grandmother was probably like, you're special, do whatever you want, you're the best, you know, and was like, again, kind of feeding into that sort of like Homelander-iness of her.
Yeah. Everything's connected.
But
it's all similar.
but nothing. But I don't think that they were like, all right, hey Charlie, you have a demon inside of you, and eventually at some point we're going to kill you and put your soul and his soul into your brother's body. That's sort of our plan.
Yep.
I don't think that she was like, okay, cool, good.
Yeah, true. I mean, she as you saw, she was a teenage girl.
Yeah.
At her moment of most vulnerable, when she was choking. So
yeah. I don't know why. There's a moment where, and maybe we just saw it, but the dad calls her and is like, I'm blaming you and I'm mad at you. And it's like, I don't know why you would do that. Like,
yeah.
He makes some interesting tactical
that is
decisions.
true, because like he I mean, her mental illness is something he has probably known.
Yeah.
And like that's something he's always known. So
yeah.
I mean, maybe that was just his being fed up, and he's like, "Fuck it."
But still,
it's like, in terms of, I mean, if you want to call it, if you want to break it down, you know, it's not a smart move tactically,
yeah.
But I guess, I mean, what is it? Let's say 25 years of marriage, and
yeah,
the shit's getting really weird and really unexplainable.
Maybe
like,
20.
Yeah.
I'll give them 20 years of marriage, which means they've been dating for 24 years or whatever, been together.
So just like, I think he...
See, here's where he takes all the sleeping pills.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he definitely... He doesn't become the best version of himself, you know, after a certain point, maybe.
But also, grief does that. Like, grief is a fucking powerful thing.
I mean, he did lose his daughter.
And he's slowly losing his wife.
Yeah. And his son is... he's losing everything.
And he eventually gets set on fire.
Yeah. I mean, you want to... I know we haven't talked about this stuff. You just want to go into the final shit in the fan.
Yeah. I mean, and so... They try and bring Charlie back. They do all these little things. They try and bring Charlie back, not like back to life, but like in some sort of medium, like let's talk to her and settle the score. But then when they do, Charlie is like, "Why did you do this? What is so happening?" Because she has a fucking psycho host, because the mom is the one who's channeling her, and that's what kind of like sets everybody off. And it's like, hey, listen, like maybe like everybody just kind of gets mad, Everybody is just kind of like on edge and tense. And then so the mom, she knows that something is going on. Annie, Toni Collette knows that something is going on. She knows that there's something like weird.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know what. And I think this is what leads me to believe that she isn't like isn't in on it, and she isn't like, she is just again an inactive like I'm trying to think of like a chemistry term where it's like a reagent or whatever.
Yeah.
And stuff's just happening to her.
Well, how do you explain when she gets demonic and she's flying around, climbing on the ceiling and shit?
I mean,
is that just her having lost it that much? But then how does she have the powers?
She is the I would say in that moment she is the host for some sort of like something. I don't think that she is. She can't fly.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, is payment in her just for that for that couple moments?
No, I think it's probably some sort of like. I would say that it is the psychic energy of all of the followers of Payman.
Yeah,
have put this on her and are like, they're all like, get Peter to the thing so we can put Payman inside of him.
Yeah,
and they're singing it and it's beautiful. They've got it and it's like it's.
Again, we're watching in the background and
her head
something
just was a ball.
Legitimately just freaked me out.
But I think that that's like. That's outside of Payman. Payman's still looking for a place to go. And that's Peter.
Yeah.
But so all this weird stuff starts hitting the fan. The mom's got it figured out, but nobody's listening to her. And she's like, all right, listen, husband, Gabriel Byrne, we got to set this book on fire. This is what is hosting him. You know, this is that good weird shit, okay?
Yep.
We got to set it on fire.
And you also... are mistrusting her.
Yeah.
And you're like, I mean, at this point, my trust of her is full on. Okay, I believe you now.
Now, as we're talking about it, but while you're watching the movie.
No. As I'm watching the movie, for me, that's like, all right, I'm 80-20 on your side right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure you're fine.
Especially because we saw her discover she's like going through, she's like combing through the house, like this is some weird shit going on here. She sees her like little daughter's book draw dead versions of her son, and she's like, this fucking smells up here. She goes up, and it's her mom's dead corpse, and there's all these like candles and stuff around, and it's like, this shit is going, like, she's just like, something is happening, and I'm figuring it out, and everyone around her is like, you're absolutely batshit.
Yeah, and then so the final. Where she's like, yo, it's like to her husband, like, we need to burn this and then we'll fix it. Or no, she'll like this is tied to me. This journal is tied to me. But if we burn it, I think everything will be fine. It's gonna kill me,
but it's gonna be okay.
But it's gonna save Peter and yourself.
Which is like, again, that's like a fucking.
That's also like
in her lucid moments. Like if that's her lucid moments. Probably some sort of like blend between the two because it's like sort of suicidal, but like, you know, that's her being like, yeah, I'm okay with dying to save and like, can you imagine being that dad, husband, that your wife like is like, all right, if you burn this book, I will burn alive, but our son will be safe from the demon that is trying to get him, and he's just like,
hold up,
you're part one, you're asking me to burn you.
Yep.
By tossing this book in the fire. And then part two, what is everything else that you're saying that you expect me to believe is true?
Yep. And then she's like, well,
fuck it.
If you ain't doing it, I'm doing it. And
we'll do it live!
Yeah. And she throws the book back in the fire, and instead of her burning, he burns, and he's eviscerated.
He is gone.
And so that kind of starts the...
That starts stuff off. I mean, and then it just kind of like...
I guess without like recounting the story, like what, I don't know, like I guess talking like...
I don't know, I'm trying to figure out...
So the first time I was watching it, it had a lot of the moments where it had jump scares, but it wasn't a jump scare, it was when you noticed it.
Yeah.
It was kind of riddled through this. So you see the naked people outside their house, like, whoa, what the fuck? And when you see her on the ceiling, it doesn't...
I feel like it's kind of like when the character notices it.
Yeah, you notice it really well.
You know, because like there's the part where you notice her on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And she's there.
And that's terrifying.
And that's terrifying. But then whenever horror movies love this shot, that fucking upside down flip.
Yep.
But like
American
whenever
Horror Story does that too much.
When Peter figures it out that she's like on the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah. And I think I will say the second viewing, that took the biggest hit as in terms of being like, oh, looks kind of hokey. Like it's not as scary the second time, the crawling around shit.
Yeah.
It was like the reveal again hit me pretty nicely, but I was just like, okay, this is weird.
It's weird. I had this thought, in the middle of this whole pandemic thing is I think the thing that is like this movie, like movies need to be seen on a big screen. Like I like watching movies in general and wherever they are. Oh, nice. But like the big screen, like with the sound, like because this movie is so good with the sound design.
Yeah.
Like that, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that, like thrum that it has. Like the sound design is so important, and like in the movie theater, you get absolutely enveloped in the picture, and then B in the sound design of it.
Yep.
And it's like there's
a lot of symmetry in every shot.
Yeah, it is nice. It is kind of Wes Andersonian, but like in a more realistic way.
Yeah.
And again, in that like disconcerting ritual, which I really like that this movie is a ritual.
I think the best encapsulation of the horror, dread, discomfort of the character Annie and of the whole situation is when she's decapitating herself with the wire.
Oh my god!
Like that is just a lot. Yeah, and you don't even you notice it by the wet. You
hear it first.
Yeah,
you hear it first as she's stabbing herself in the neck with fucking scissors. She's just going.
Ugh.
Oof.
And then her body, like it's an off screen. You just hear it more, and then you hear the thud too.
Yeah. But then that's what makes me think that she's not a part of herself. See, God's to the riches or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, ugh.
Well, the fact that
wild.
There's a lot of decapitation makes the death of Charlie not an accident to me.
Huh.
Or there's too much like forced midichlorians at play, where just things kind of happen that way because of
there's magic. So there's a magic symbol on the
pole.
On the pole. So you could make an argument that
there's some cosmic pulling.
There's some cosmic pull, some magic-ish there. I had this thought as we're, but I want to see like an Ari Aster. Oh my god, I feel like I say his name every time I say it. Ari Aster.
Yeah.
Ari Aster. But like a cinematic universe, like in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like they all collide, like Peter and then the girl from Midsommar.
Yep.
Like I don't know why they would be together.
It'd basically be like was it the
like Glass? Or
yeah, that's M. Night Shyamalan.
And then maybe he has 2 or 3 more movies.
Yeah.
And like, and I don't know if it needs to be a part of it too much.
I mean, the Jordan Peele universe, that could be a thing too.
Yeah, I would see that. I could see that. Like if everything, what does that universe look like? We have to see what his next movie is going to be.
It's got to be like,
but it takes place like before Us.
Yeah, because Us is a pretty big.
Us is like a pretty global thing where it's like, oh shit, they killed a bunch of people.
Or at least in America, because of the whole Hands Across America thing. Yeah. Do you have any reviews or?
I have some reviews. I actually have some pretty interesting reviews.
I'm very curious what that looks like.
So here's a 5-star review. Excellent, very disturbing, not a copy of other movies.
Not a copy.
Not a copy of other movies.
Yeah.
Which is
it definitely feels original. I mean, I don't think it's it's. I mean, you could probably break it down in its influences, but it feels original. It feels fresh. I'd say it feels fresh.
It does feel like an original.
Or did they say it's not original?
No, they said not a copy of other movies.
Oh, okay.
Here's a 2-star review that said, very gory and disturbing. The plot did not seem fully developed, and neither did the characters. Which, again, I feel like as our whole podcast has pointed to, is like we disagree with that. And I think that is probably part of like where that review comes from, is like, oh, you didn't understand that you weren't getting the full picture.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah,
see, again, I think we talked about this 1 or 2 episodes ago, is bad reviews are fine, but there's like, or if you didn't like it, it's fine. And if you didn't like it because you weren't able to understand, or certain things didn't hit you the right way, or whatever's going on, whatever. But it's always disconcerting when it's not like you didn't get it, man. It's like you simply it didn't work for you, I guess.
Yes.
But it's not that it's bad. And I guess that's the weird thing about navigating reviews.
Yeah.
But a review such as that is clearly...
Punishment brings wisdom.
Yeah, there's nothing in this movie is an accident or just there.
Yeah.
Like everything is like in the mise en scène.
Yeah.
Is very on purpose.
I can tell on this screen that these flies are all fake. I wasn't able to tell them before, but now I can.
Black blobs.
Yeah, reviews are interesting because I also don't want to like discount someone's bad review if you like don't like this movie.
Yeah.
Like for me, I did not like Ravenous.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like it's still I didn't like it for reasons that weren't like, ugh, Guy Pearce eats bodies. He could never, or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it's just it's such an interesting thing that we share to put out there. Here's another 2.5-star review, which is just it's fun because it's just such a personal thing that they're putting out there. Movie traumatized me. It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre all over again, which for me, this movie is not like Texas Chainsaw Massacre at all.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe that they have some sort of personal story that's like this is emotionally tied to Texas Chainsaw Massacre for them.
Yeah, or maybe they don't. I don't know. Like I mean, I can see why this is traumatizing, especially Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I mean, maybe then that means the movie did a good job. To me, that's the movie did a good job.
Yeah.
Which then, if you didn't like it because it triggers things, that's fair.
Yeah. That's an emotional reaction.
To me, I see that as, that's an omission of good filmmaking.
Yeah. They got you.
Yeah.
They got you, bruh. Here's a 1-star review. A very long build-up. Movie could have been half the time. Nothing is really explained until the end about the situation that is happening. The story should have focused more on what the grandmother was involved in and built to the ending. The most fake, annoying cry to any male actor goes to the brother. One, you'll be Googling at the end to see if you missed something. Big skip it.
I think he needs to watch it a second time.
Yeah, you need to. I mean,
It's all there.
It's all there, bud. It's all there, bud. And also, yeah, you're right. They don't explain anything, but it also is all explained, and it's
but
right
the fact,
there.
like, I went on to Google, it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna find that it was all there. You just need to rewatch it, or.
And I actually
change
have
how you watch movies, even.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I've been. And I understand that things are put in movies, and I can usually tell what things are leading in.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been focusing on details in in storytelling.
Yeah.
And not like big sweeping things like, oh, they mentioned the flux capacitor here in the first act that's going to come back in the third act. I don't like just details in the scenery, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I get that like not a lot of people are trained that or have that mindset, but for me, that watching this movie was fresh in the sense that I have developed and changed the way I've watched and looked out for things. So I think that like to this guy, I'd be like, hey, just maybe look for the fine details and think about why you're being shown things.
And then to kind of counterpoint that, here's a 5-star review. There's no point treading reviews of this masterpiece of slow burn, emotional torment, and blood-curdling evil, written by the dullards who think James Wan and A Quiet Place is effective horror. This one...
Wait, does he laugh in it?
I laughed because This one gets under your skin like the Vitch and convinced you that the blackest magic is real.
Is that 5 stars?
That's 5 stars.
I'm confused about what they
Well,
thought
they're
about
like,
the movie.
they basically were like, hey, fuck James Wan and A Quiet Place. This is a good movie.
That's a review.
That's pretty much what this review is. And here's a half-star review. A cult is trying to summon the devil, which is not true, by traumatizing a teenage boy. There, I just saved 2 hours of your life. Go watch something else. This movie is a pretentious piece of shit. The acting is annoying. I didn't like any of the characters, and the plot is insufferable. Fuck this movie. Why do people like this garbage?
I'm pretty like fuck pretentiousness. Like I hate that. That shit turns me off.
Yeah.
Just as anyone else. I don't know, or more than the average cookie. But that said, this movie does not hit me with a lot of pretension.
No. Well, and that's what I was saying earlier. Is like all those like filmmaking stuff that is like, here, let's build.
I mean, does that mean this guy's intimidated because he doesn't understand it, so he's claiming it's pretentious?
I think so. That's what I'm gonna put on him.
Yeah.
Get out of here, you fuckwit. Here's another half-star review. Just another bad movie. It had a couple of jump scares, but other than that, not in the slightest bit horrifying. I'll never understand why it's so highly thought of. The audience was even vocal in the theater about how terrible it was, both during and after the film.
Go watch Scream or go watch fucking Saw. Like what? I know exactly who that person is.
Yeah.
And
like, oh, it only had a few jump scares. It's like, what do you want, bruh?
It's like that's horror films to you. It's like, see, we were talking about it like the standard, like Marvel's building up what's acceptable to younger viewers or viewers today, and viewers of Marvel films will have expectations of other films and like mainstream shit. And so then right here you have the prime example of that with horror, where horror for a while was jump scares and gross out stuff. And then so when a genuinely horrific movie comes out, probably the most horrific since arguably since The Exorcist or Exorcism.
Yeah.
You have the audiences that just don't understand it. And it's not because of who they are as a person, it's who they've been conditioned or what they've been conditioned by what they've been watching with these shitty horror films.
But also, that's also not a, like, it's funny because, again, I cherry pick and I pick the worst ones. So it's like,
but I think
on
but
a
that's
whole,
out there.
Yeah, clearly it's out there. But on a whole, people are like, yeah, this movie's good.
Yeah.
I like this movie.
I don't know what they obviously their friends and whatever people they went with were groomed the same way.
Whichever country or whichever state that they were in, that they were like, yeah, this movie fucking sucks, dude.
Probably fucking Indiana or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. No disrespect.
No disrespect to Indiana. They play good basketball there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Hereditary again.
Yeah. God, I think I gave it 4 out of 5.
I gave it 4.5 out of 5 fucking clucks.
I gave it 4 for 4 decapitated heads because there's the grandmother, the daughter, there's 3. There's only 3 heads. I'm gonna. Is there 4 heads in here?
Well,
and the pigeon.
Yeah.
So 4 decapitated heads out of 5.
Yeah, there you go, bud.
And in terms of things I've been watching, I haven't watched a lot. I've watched Spirited Away, which is this, anime or a Studio Ghibli film. It's great.
That's the one that won an Oscar when it wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, for best animated film. Trump was president, he would have been mad about that. What is this? Fucking something. But I watched Troy.
Oh yeah.
That's such a guilty pleasure movie. Not even like, I don't think people would judge me, but for me, I know I'm
judging you right now.
It's a pretty bad movie, but I love it. I love this. I love the spectacle. I love the sets, the costumes. Like, I like history. I'm not like a purist of the Greek poems. Like, I don't care how it's different or whatever. I enjoy the movie. I like Eric Bana's performance.
It's a pretty stacked cast too.
Yeah, like it's a fun movie to watch. I had a good time.
So here's, and I'm not gonna say it right, but like for their big fight scene, Eric Bana and Brad Pitt.
Yep.
They did. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they bet or something.
They bet, and like I think Brad Pitt, they bet like $5 for like every time that they accidentally hit each other.
Yep.
And Brad Pitt owed Eric Bana like $500 or something like that, and Eric Bana owed him nothing.
Yep. Which is funny because he's Brad Pitt's Achilles, who's supposed to be the better soldier, which I could maybe say he had more complex moves, so maybe that's why he was
He also, I think, at the
Struggling.
beginning of that fight sequence, he tore his Achilles tendon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when like the first day that they were shooting that, he like tore his Achilles tendon on like that big jump up or something.
Oh, yeah. His first kill, the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, he actually ended up tearing his Achilles.
That's some true
tendon.
irony right there.
Yeah, it was.
What have you been watching?
I've been watching a lot of Aaron Sorkin movies.
Okay.
I don't know why. But because I was editing the short film and I was trying to figure out how to like edit dialogue, and there's so much dialogue in Aaron Sorkin movies, and I also just was like, I don't know. I guess I watched. I don't know. I just got into a little groove because I watched Steve Jobs, then I watched Molly Game, and then I watched Moneyball, and then I started watching.
I need to watch Moneyball.
Moneyball's good.
That was like the thing. I was looking at movies and Moneyball was there, and I was like, "Fuck, I want to watch this."
So we both chose different. I like to imagine that we both watched it on the same. Like we
Yeah.
you watched because I saw
day I
Troy.
watched
Because
it.
I saw Troy, I was like, huh? We were both looking for something with Brad Pitt.
funny.
We were both looking for something with Brad Pitt.
I like Brad Pitt.
I love Brad Pitt, but it was just like I went in baseball, and you weren't. Which is again just who we are as people.
Yeah. I went historical warfare. You
Yeah.
went baseball.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And then obviously I've been watching the World Series because I love that sweet old sports stuff.
Nice. Yep.
Um,
Well, that is this episode.
that's this episode,
of
guys.
Stinky Popcorn Boys. I think we're gonna do another midweek episode, so we're gonna check out Borat and talk about that.
Yeah,
So that'll be fun.
keep it rocking and rolling.
But we'll see you guys next time. Check
Yeah,
us
hit
out
us-
on Twitter.
Hit us up on Twitter at the Stinky Podcast and tell us what you think we should watch next. Tell us why you hated Hereditary, or tell us why you loved it. Pitch us your version of Hereditary 2 or the Ari Aster universe, and also send me like a video message about how to say his name, an Ari Aster or Ari Aster. Go ahead and hit me up. I'll help you production design something, or I don't know. Just let me lick
I'll be
your
PA.
Yeah, I'll be your PA. Let me lick your boots, dude. Rate and review of the Stinky Podcast, and as they say in Utah, oh my God, my head is gone from my body.
Is there Christopher Walken?
Oh my goodness. My head, the demon payment is inside of me. Oh God.